I'm Charlotte, and you're watching The Ugly Atheist. And today I wanted to discuss a topic that was sort of brought up by someone who was commenting on one of my videos. And they said I seemed not so happy, and they went on to sort of conclude that atheists are generally unhappy people. And I thought, whether or not I'm happy is not so much the important topic as generally speaking, to make a generalization from one person that all atheists are generally unhappy. That is a flawed conclusion to come to. I came across a Reddit post that let me pull it up here, and I'll pull it up on the screen too so you can follow along. This is a Reddit post from a few months ago, but it's like looks like it's from the perspective of a Christian talking about atheists. So it says, it looks like a Catholic. I have never met a truly happy atheist. It says, "Hello, brethren. I would like to share something that has come into my mind recently. Note, I am only 17, but as far as I can see it, I have never met a truly happy atheist who is completely fulfilled with their life. Even among good people, including adults that I know who are atheists, every one of them has some kind of major insecurity or something that they just cannot deal with. Since they are separating themselves from God, of whom all good comes from, I can see why. But as I get more serious with my faith, I start to see all the disturbing things that even the kindest, sweetest, and good-hearted atheists hold on to represent. Life without God means nothing. You have no purpose. Once you're dead, that's it. No wonder they are miserable. Just something I wanted to share. What are your thoughts? God bless." God bless indeed for this little 17-year-old. At 17, you have to give people some slack, or a little bit of slack, because they're not completely aware of how human emotions sort of work and how ideology fits onto reality. I remember being 17, and I remember I wasn't a Christian at 17. I think I was just non-religious, or I was probably still Catholic at that time. I don't remember. Because I grew up Catholic and then switched to evangelical Christian through my 20s. But what's interesting about this is that they categorize the issue they take is that they've not met atheists who are truly, and they use truly, happy. And what this 17-year-old probably doesn't know, is that is a fallacy, a logical fallacy. It's called the no true Scotsman fallacy, where if you say, "Well, you're not truly happy," and the person responds, "Yeah, I'm happy." "Truly happy?" "Sure, probably." "Really?" So there's never any way to really satiate that requirement. They're always going to take some umbrage with some aspect of your claim to be happy. But the reality here is that a person's happiness doesn't come from whether or not they believe in a mythology. That's usually something that is affected by your upbringing and the events as they unfold in your life, and your ability to handle those events that come up in your life. If you're ill-equipped, then you're going to have a harder go at life, whether you believe in God or not. You're going to approach problems with a little bit more drama, a little bit more intensity. And if you were brought up with the equipment to handle life's adversities, then you're going to weather the storms a lot more steadily, whether or not you're a Christian. And they're pointing out, this writer is pointing out things like, said this disturbing things. So that sounds kind of scary. It says even the kindest, sweetest, and good-hearted atheists hold on to. Oh, probably like just past trauma. You could easily take this entire post and switch places where I've never met a truly happy Christian. They all have their hang-ups, and you can go through that whole list and just swap the places, and it would still be true. It would still make sense, rather. So I think that when we're dealing with our own ideologies, the temptation is for us to try to map our ideologies onto reality. And depending on your ideology, a lot of it matches up with reality, but there's going to be areas of incongruity where your ideology just seems to not fit onto what reality is showing you. And I think if we're going to be honest with ourselves, I think those of us who are honest, I should say, will not try to force reality into our ideology, but rather re-examine our ideologies. And the problem with fundamentalism on either camp is that it does not accommodate that sort of introspection. And now, taking this to what the commenter was saying about me personally seeming unhappy, that is, I'll try to spare you too many details, but when I was growing up, I was subjected to a perceived trauma that wasn't really a trauma, but I perceived it to be at the time because I was maybe 2 or 3 years old, and my father had told me a joke to try to get me to eat my food because I wasn't eating. I couldn't chew meat or something, but I didn't know he was joking, and so I thought like my life was going to be over in a matter of days to weeks, to months even. And so whether it's a real threat or not, if you think that you are going to be, not living in the near future, it really does something to your psyche. And in my case, what it did, and this is kind of a long story, so I'll try to keep it short and I'll get to my point. But in my case, what it did is I developed these coping mechanisms to deal with life's issues. One of them being when you think you're going to die, it puts things in perspective. Like you see what things are important versus what things are a waste of time to waste your energy on, and waste your emotional energy on, and your strength and attention. So you gain a bit of wisdom from that experience. Another thing is that you learn to find happiness where there might not apparently be one. Like if you are encountering a stressful situation, you learn these mental tricks to get around it so that you get back to the happiness place. So for what that looked like for me is that I would think of the problem sort of in concentric circles where you have the core of the problem, and if that starts to become too stressful, then you shift your mindset to the next outer ring, which would normally be something like the thought that, okay, yes, this is stressful, but there will come a time when this is over and I will be on the other side of it and I will be relatively fine. And if that proves to be still too stressful, the next ring out is even more generalized. So let's say, for example, if you're having a financial crisis, I didn't have that as a little child, but This is an example of how this type of thinking or this coping mechanism I had would work in a adult scenario where, let's say, I have a core issue with finances, and so the next sphere out would be I have a family I can rely on if needed, so there's that little bit of a safety net. And the next ring out from that is, I'm fortunate enough to live in a country where we have, programs to help the needy. I can always find food. There's always some kind of shelter available. The next one out, I could always live in my car. It just keeps going up. But there's always something that I could jump to help alleviate my stress and to help me realize that, it helps me get back to kind of my default state of happiness. So that I'm saying all of that just to say that even if I appear unhappy, deep inside I have this sort of default state of being happy and at least content. That's my normal state, is just basically content, content, happy, at times joyful. And another coping mechanism that I've found that I employ is just gaining excitement from the ideas about the future. Like, if I can teach myself a new skill, that's exciting because then that might open up career opportunities. And so I get excited about learning about new stuff and reading new books, learning new ideas. Like, all of these things are exciting to me. So they kind of enhance my default state of contentment, my default state of happiness, and it adds little spikes of joy. So generally speaking, I'm a happy person, and I was this way when I was a Christian, and I was this way now as an atheist. So your happiness, to make my broader point, is based on your previous life experiences, and it's not based on what it is you believe necessarily. I know that Christianity is a wonderful tool to help people out of dark times in their life, and I think that's what it should be used for. That's its strength, is to rescue people from addiction and from horrible abusive situations. And so I have my own story about how Christianity helped me, and so I will probably share that sometime in the future. But so all of that long-windedness is just to say that if you think that somebody is less happy because of their belief system, you are most likely mistaken, and it's not something that you should probably pursue just to try to get converts. There's other ways. If you find somebody that you think is kind of hurting in your life, deal with them on a personal level. Don't make a generalization about all atheists or all, Muslims or other believers, other kinds of believers. Just focus your love and attention on that person, and try to find out if there's a way that you can help them, or maybe they can help you in some way. So just be a human about it. So that being said, I am going to wrap up this episode right there, and be sure to go out and vote. I know who I'm voting for, and I hope he wins. I hope you go out and vote, and thank you for watching. My name is Charlotte, and you're watching The Ugly Atheist, and we will see you next time.